A better way to pay your UTG fees with instant proof of payment and real-time student portal update. Paying your University of the Gambia fees has never been easier or more convenient. With Ecobank, students, parents and guardians can pay UTG tuition and related fees through our secure digital banking channels such as Ecobank mobile app, Ecobank Online and Ecobank Omni Lite. Once payment is completed, instant proof of payment is generated and the UTG student portal is updated in real time, allowing students to proceed immediately with registration, course selection, and clearance without unnecessary delays, while giving parents and guardians peace of mind that payments have been successfully processed. How to pay via the Ecobank mobile app. Open the Ecobank mobile app and navigate to the home screen. Select Pay Bill. Choose Pay a New Bill and select Schools from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. How to pay via Ecobank Online or Omni Lite. Log in to Ecobank Online and Omni Lite using your credentials. Select the menu and choose Bill Payments. Choose Quick Bill Pay and select School from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Walk into any Ecobank branch or pay through our digital channels and enjoy instant proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank.
Santa Yala.
Nekar, utul wave, nga scan, nga fay, nak doo ci yokku dara.
Jah Oil Company stands tall as a trusted name in energy, keeping the Gambia moving with service stations across the country and a commitment to innovation and reliability. In Farafenni, Jah Group is reshaping our industrial landscape. The Jah Oil Cement Factory can produce up to 100,000 bags a day, reducing imports, creating jobs, and building a stronger Gambia brick by brick. And in the heart of the Central River region, Jah Farming Initiative is cultivating food security. With thousands of hectares under development and modern irrigation, Jah Farming is turning the Gambia's soil into abundance. Jah Group is more than a company. It is a vision of self-sufficiency, resilience, and progress. The Jah Group of companies, investing in industry, agriculture, and energy, building the Gambia's future today.
Africa is rising and business knows no borders. With Bloombank and PAPSS, buying and selling across Africa is now effortless. Fast, secure, direct from your Bloombank account. One Africa, one connection, one heartbeat of opportunity, powered by Bloombank Africa. Bloombank Africa, in partnership with PAPSS, connecting Africa, empowering you. Bloombank Africa, we make it happen.
Next, we're going to talk about the National Misinformation and Disinformation Response Center, NMDRC. Yeah, we have somebody here who helped build the NMDRC, Imran Gaye. I remember when we had him on Coffee Time for the first time, he had all these grand ideas, and our wish was that the government at least would, take him on some of his offers, and this is one such offer he made that has now become reality. Imran, good to see you back here.
Good to see you too.
Fantastic.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, NMDRC. Tell us about it.
We can just call it the Misinformation Center.
Misinformation Center. Okay. All right.
But that's the official name, the National Misinformation Information Center.
Yes.
Yeah. So first of all, that was a good because when I came here last time, I have to thank you. It really
it's okay.
exposed my ideas. I got a lot of contacts, including, like you said, the Misinformation Center, because I got a lot of So I know we're very.
That was the whole point of coming back home.
That was the whole point.
Right?
Yeah,
all these years that you've been putting, in North America, you come here and make them work for the Gambia as well.
Yeah. And I've been pleasantly surprised.
Fantastic.
Because we usually act like government is one cynical body, but I've had people. I'm working with agriculture on a drone project. I'm working with petroleum. I'm working with gum works. Yeah, so it's been good.
I'll come looking for a job with you.
No, you'll hire me.
You really need hands. Yeah. So let's talk about the Misinformation Center.
Yes. Okay, so
how did the idea come about?
Okay, it just I've always been worried about misinformation and what it will do, because I worked at Google. I worked at the heart of the internet, and I saw upfront what AI can do, both on the good side and on the bad side. So I spoke to because I kept worrying about it. So finally, I spoke to Dr. Cisse. This was beginning of last year.
Yes.
Yeah, and we started talking about it, and he was also alarmed at the danger. So he asked me to come up with some kind of concept note or something describing it. So I went in, we discussed it, we fleshed out the note, and we came up with the idea of having.
Was the concept note AI generated?
Oh no. I used AI for research, but I wrote the note myself because it had to be bespoke to Gambia and our particular situation. Yeah, so we came up with the idea for the WhatsApp and for the hotline. It got funded by Ecobank because we sent them the concept note, and they were like, wow, this is amazing.
Loved it.
Yeah, we haven't seen, because what we're trying to do is new. We're trying to fight AI with AI instead of trying to fight AI with humans, right? Because that's impossible nowadays. So we got the funding from ECOWAS. I put together, my team is called Dunda Systems. I mentioned it last time.
Yes,
so they're all Gambians. I have AI engineers, testing engineers, QA, front end, all of that. So we put it all together. ECOWAS agreed to fully fund it. So me and my team then built it from the ground up in consultation with the ministry. Yes, so that's how it came about. Now it's live; people can visit it.
Okay. What can it do, and how does one use it?
Okay, so it can, you send it any kind of suspected information that you see. You have two methods of doing that. You can do it on a website, which is factguard.gov.gm. You can do it on the hotline. So I'll read out the number. That's +220 910 7846. So that's the WhatsApp hotline. So you can just forward things there. So I send you, someone posted an example, Palai, the other day, one of my friends on Facebook. The first test he did of the center was, are the reports true that President Barrow is pregnant? So then the center, the AI came back and it said no, but he was just testing, just for fun, right? Yeah, the AI came back and said, of all the reports that I've seen online, President Barrow is referred to as he and a male. So it is very unlikely that he's carrying child right now. But yes, that's what it does. So it takes what you give it. And it looks outside. It's not. This is one thing that I need to emphasize. The government isn't publishing information. It looks outside at all of the Gambian newspapers. It looks at the international newspapers. It looks at social media. And using all of these different things, it then comes up with a judgment telling you that this was either likely manipulated or not. Okay. You can also forward videos. You can forward audio. And all of those will get a response back telling you.
Interesting. Interesting. And everything is hosted, and the data center is here in the Gambia, or
no, we don't have the capability to run AI on data centers right now. It's extremely expensive, so you have to host it in the cloud. But we have a private cloud and we have built-in safeguards, like it's completely anonymous, so the government couldn't use it to trace you. But that brings me to today. I wanted to come in because with Sheriff, we spoke about the misinformation center, its modalities, how to access it, and so on.
Sheriff, for those of you who don't know, Sheriff is the guy who does Pinchami,
yes,
my other program on 95.3. Great guy.
Yes. Good questions. He's a very dynamic.
He professionally elbowed me out of the program.
Okay. So
what do you want to
I
address
wanted
today?
to come in today, not to talk about the center itself, but as a skeptic.
As a skeptic?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because if I've seen a lot of criticisms online, and if I was outside of this project and I opened up the paper and I saw government sets up misinformation and disinformation center, my first thought would be censorship. Because I'd be like, why are they trying to
So
control?
that headline is problematic for you?
No, I'm talking, yes, as a skeptic.
As a skeptic,
as a
yes,
skeptic,
that's what I'm saying, yes.
Someone who was not involved in this project.
We are treating you as a skeptic
exactly.
now.
So that would immediately ring off alarm bells for anyone, because we all know about how misinformation can be used, which I'll come to in a bit. But that skepticism, I don't see it as a criticism of the project. I see it as a way to enhance the project and make it better for everyone. So I wanted to deal with some of the, from my viewpoint as a skeptic.
Okay.
One of the first things is government control of information. We have seen it through our history as a species and in Africa as well. We have seen how it has been used to cover atrocities. Because an atrocity always comes with an information cover-up. No one just does it like that. You have to actually cover up things and put out misinformation or whatever you need to, right? So that's a valid concern. Another concern that I would think, if I was a skeptic, is why does government have to do this? Why can't we have independent fact checkers and CSOs and so on actually do this? And then another one would be, why is government being the source of truth? Why can't individuals make up their own minds? So if I saw this from outside, that's what I would think. This doesn't belong in government, CSOs, all of those should.
Okay. So now let's take your skeptic hat off.
Yes. Yes.
And now have you, the builder of the system, answer these questions.
Yes. So it was actually a journey for me as well as a skeptic before I built the system itself. Because every time I try to build a system for Gambia, I go with borrowing from the doctors. First, do no harm. Okay. So anything I do for Gambia, no matter how much money is involved or whatever, first, it should not harm the country. And that has to take into account long-term thinking. Because even if this government is perfect and never abuses anything we build, they're not going to be here forever. No. So governments will always change. The people in them will always change. So when we're building national infrastructure like this, it's very, very important to keep that in mind, right? But to properly situate it in history, because this is not just a standalone tool. If you look at it that way, as an isolated government program, then you won't really get the whole thing, the whole idea, right? So we start from when we had small community networks. This was before internet, before television, all of that. So we all knew each other in those small communities. And you could trace where information came from because you had respected griots, you had respected elders in the community and so on. And those people knew about the history of the community, and it was very hard to introduce fake news or misinformation because it was very easy to just go check with the griot. So, but that only works at a small scale. And in that case, when you have information, you need a trust authority to be able to consume that information because it's too voluminous. So you need a way to be able to say, okay, this person said this, and I have a chain of trust going all the way back to, the initial person who said it, and it came down. So we did that in our communities. We had the griots, and then we had the talking drum system. I don't know if you have ever heard about that. So when you hear about talking drums, you just think about bam, 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 like the basic drum sounds. Yeah. So when you see it that way, it's...
although this one you would have it already. That's the tama.
Yeah, that's the tama, right? So when you hear the sound, it sounds like just really basic communication, like warnings and so on. But in fact, when they did research, they found out later that it was actually, it could express all of language. because the tone they beat it at, how tense the drum wire was, and so on. So to normal people, it would just be drumming sounds, but each community had a drumming master, a drumming translator. So he understood how to translate between the drum audio and the natural language, and then he would translate for the rest of the village, right? And then he'd drum, send it to the next village. They would do the same thing. So here too, it was very, very hard to introduce misinformation into the system, because there was only one channel, there was one person controlling it, and they were a trusted person. Right, so that was the first step. So it was when information networks were that small, it was hard to interject or inject misinformation and disinformation into them. But then things started to change, because at the beginning, for example, when it came to literacy, the Catholic Church controlled it, right? They controlled, because back then when you wrote books, you had to get a scribe. It was a very labor-intensive process, and to copy books, there were no copying machines or whatever. It had to be copied. So the church controlled who went to school, who got literate, who got access to all of these books and so on. They had control over that knowledge. But then Gutenberg invented the printing press in 1440. So that democratized information, because now suddenly the church was in the central authority. Anyone could print anything they wanted, right? And that led to a lot of great advancements in our history as a human species, right? For example, Martin Luther's 95 Theses, he nailed them on that church door, and then in 3 weeks, all of Europe had read them because of the printing press, because it was so easy to copy, right? So it also led to a lot of scientific advancements, because now you could put out your theories, whatever. You can put it out today, in a month, someone in Africa can read it, right? So that led to a huge explosion. But as with every information technology, it also enabled malicious use, right? So, for example, there was this thing called the 30 Years' War in Europe that killed, I think, 10 million people. And that was mainly precipitated by false information, because they were using the printing press to put out pamphlets claiming that the other side was committing atrocities and murdering children and, all of that. So that made the conflict even bigger, until millions of people had died, right? So the printing press gave us that access, but it also gave us that danger. I see you looking at your time. How much time do I have?
Another 20 minutes.
I have another 20 minutes here. And then the printing press was used for different things as well. And then the radio came along, which is your field, right? So with the printing press, at first, the skeptics, if I was a skeptic back then, I would say this has democratized information, let everyone publish whatever they want.
Yes.
But we saw that didn't quite work out, and that's why over the past 200 years or so, journalism was invented as a profession. Your profession served the purposes of this misinformation center, but for the printing press, right, and for the radio. And then television came later too. So with radio also, when it first came out, it was like the skeptics were like, no, let's not try to control this in any way, or add any laws or institutions or anything like that. But then when it becomes uncontrolled, things like the Biafra War, for example, both Nigeria, the Nigerian state and the Biafran state, they actually hired consultants from like Switzerland and Europe to present their case. So all of those pictures you were seeing of children starving and all of that, it isn't that they weren't happening, but they were being taken and framed in a certain way to advance the case for that particular side. And both sides did it, right? And then we saw what King Leopold did as well. He came to the Congo, he killed 10 million people, and then he had journalists and PR people all over Europe, and they just wrote about how he was doing an amazing job civilizing them, right? So misinformation has been here for a while. And
you asked 2 questions, which I said, now take off your skeptic's hat, and now, as the builder of the system, on the issue of government control, you saw this headline, government introduces
misinformation.
And then, again, the issue of government wanting control, how would you answer that?
Yeah.
And there was another thing you were skeptical about, huh? will government use that for propaganda?
For propaganda as well, yeah. So I'll come to the example of Mansa Musa in Mali. So we all heard about...
To answer which of the questions? I need the questions.
No, I'm getting there. You have to let me build up, right? Okay. So we often hear reports about how he traveled to Mali, the famous, he gave us so much gold, he tanked the whole economy and stuff. So people usually present that as this, Munku African king who had too much money to waste. But that wasn't the purpose of the journey. He took along thousands of scribes and storytellers and so on to tell the story of Mali, to situate it within the global empire system, right? So information and shaping it in order to present a country or whatever, that has always existed, right? The problem is not that. The problem is being able to do it without any accountability. Right? So with, like I said, with the printing press, we created accountability mechanisms. With radio, we did the same. With TV, we did the same, right? Because again, you could have one central authority that you trusted and that put out the TV or the news or whatever. So I'm trying to say that government is already involved in not controlling information, but filtering it and also acting as a source of authority that already exists. One example I can give you is the central bank, right? The money in our pockets is just paper with things printed on it, right? It doesn't mean anything. Anyone can print. But having a central bank says that, okay, this money, if you give it to Uncle Peter, it will be worth this amount and he can spend it everywhere else. If we didn't have a central bank, we wouldn't be able to do that, right? And you can see that the central bank doesn't look at us individually and say, okay, Uncle Peter, you're UDP, so you can only spend this amount of money. That is not their job, right? And so it came. TV time, we had the same thing. We had to have broadcast regulations. We had to have people sign up officially as journalists and media houses. All of that was not in the name of control, but in the name of being able to use the new medium in a way that is not harmful to the people, right? So they usually set it up as either censorship and the government is in complete control, or you have freedom. I'm doing air quotes now for people listening. So you have freedom. But those are not the two opposite sides. The one side is control, or trying to keep it under. The other side is not freedom, it's chaos. So when it comes to the internet removed the trust authorities that we have set up for the radio, for the TV, for the printing press, because with the internet it's free to publish. So it democratized everything completely, but it also threw everything else into chaos. Because the things that we used to control media and stuff before, to control misinformation, the internet, those things don't work anymore because literally anyone can put anything out there, right? So it's very easy to put out misinformation and immediately have it on every person's WhatsApp in the Gambia, right? So that's where the government comes in. The problem now after the internet is AI. So the internet democratized distribution, but you still needed the skills and the talent, and you needed to have the capital to actually create misinformation, to share it, right? So that added an extra bit of friction and made it a bit harder. But then AI came along, and now you can sit down and you can build a whole Peter Gomez podcast in like 5 minutes using just audio available of you from
You're doing it, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm doing it's a completely different thing that I'm doing. It's a podcast, right? So with AI, it's become so voluminous that it's hard for a person to sit there. In fact, they did studies, and 70% of the time, individuals cannot distinguish between deepfake and real. Right? And then when you have fact checkers, they're human fact checkers, and these are AI tools. They can't keep up. Currently, the stats show that every 5 minutes, about 1,000 pieces of misinformation are shared on the internet.
Every 5 minutes?
Every 5 minutes. And this is from last year, so it's probably grown even more, right? So it's impossible for fact checkers to be able to, most of them are under-resourced. Fact checking is not a big thing in our continent and our region, right? So it's impossible for them to keep up. The same with CSOs. They try to keep up, but they haven't caught up to the AI age yet because it's so expensive. They have to get training. They have to, that's outside of their remit, right? So that's where this tool comes in. So first it equips the Gambian, because the Gambian, like I said, we are no longer able to tell between deepfakes and non-deepfakes. So we need a tool to be able to do that. So government decided to build this tool to help with that, right? So completely anonymous, it just tells you whether something you sent is or not. Then the fact checkers, they cannot afford the AI systems, like I said, because what fact-checking organization here could come up with $50,000 and then pay thousands of dollars every month to maintain the system?
Oh, that's what we're going to be paying every month?
That's what it
Who's paying, ECOWAS or?
No, ECOWAS funded the project, now government is maintaining it. So that's They're
going to be putting thousands of dollars every month?
Yeah. Just for maintenance, because AI is that expensive. Yes, and just so that tool will be available free to all Gambians, right? So that's on the individual end. On the fact-checking end as well, so we're saying you can't afford $50,000. You can't afford to pay thousands of dollars a month to keep this running. So we'll build it. We'll make it completely independent. It's not government is not putting anything in there. It's actually just grabbing stuff from online too. And so now all fact-checkers have these thousands of dollars worth systems for free. So it's actually making their work easier. It's not replacing them.
Have you started working with Gambian fact checkers yet?
Yeah, so that's another thing. We one of the things, like I said, first do no harm. That's the so one of the things we spoke about from the beginning with the ministry, with the doctor, Dr. Cisse, was to set up some kind of oversight committee.
Okay.
Because government are providing the tool, but government should not control the tool.
Okay.
So when I say maintaining, it's completely different from controlling. Maintaining is paying for the service. It's like government building the roads so we can ride on them, right? So, the roads are not political. They are not deciding who gets to drive based on who you support, right? So this is a tool like that. And
hopefully it'll stay that way.
It will. It was, I'll come to the technical design as well, because these kinds of tools, you can just base them on a gentleman's agreement with the government or something like that, right? Like I said, governments change, they come and go. So we do have technical implementations in place apart from that. But to come back to the oversight committee, we did make provision for them. We invited them to the ministry. And instead of doing it after the fact, just to check off a box and say, we invited them, we actually invited them before the launching to be able to get their input, and then we change the system in whatever ways, so that we work on this as a collaboration between government and citizens. Unfortunately, they rebuffed our invitation.
The fact checkers.
Not just the fact checkers. We also wanted to include GPU. We wanted to include CSOs. So instead of criticizing from outside, like I said, even I myself would be skeptical if I saw it the way they saw it without understanding. So we were trying to say, instead of just criticizing from outside, it gets acrimonious, people are not on the same page. Why don't you come in and give us your criticisms, and we'll build them into the center. So then you will be more comfortable using them, and it will benefit everyone from CSOs. And this AI, it doesn't know any of us. It doesn't know any government official. It doesn't know any ministers. It doesn't know any opposition. It looks at the facts and it tells you what it sees.
But it can greet you. It can recognize you. When I use AI on my laptop, it says to me, "Hi, Mr.
Exactly.
Comment.
So that's a good point. So it's because the AI that we use, like Claude, GPT, etc., they are built in that way. The AIs themselves have an architecture where when you go to the AI, you'll see the AI memory. And that's where things are being saved. Now, with our AI, we remove the memory entirely. So it just answers your question direct, and that's it.
Without addressing you by name or whatever.
And it doesn't save your name, it doesn't save your number. So even if
so it doesn't save your number.
It doesn't save anything. So you can see, even if a malicious
so there's no data retention.
There's no data retention. So you can't really use that to track people because it's not there. If it was, because another option would have been, okay, put it there, but then have it behind the law, get arrest warrants. So we got rid of all of that. So it's a tool It's fair, it's neutral, it shows you what it finds out, and it also gives you the findings. So it doesn't just say, no, this is true or this is false. It tells you the sources that it used to get them, and then presents that to you, so you can go and check on it. And then finally, we also have a free and public audit trail on the website. So anyone can go there and see all the cases submitted ever through the system, anonymous of course, along with the key findings as well. So,
Okay. Right. That's interesting. What else do we need to know about this system to allay any fears that people may have?
Yeah. So, like I said, we built in the AI architectural controls, so the information is not available, even if a malicious actor wanted it available. Right. That's the first thing. The second thing is this tool is just part of a larger package. We are tending to concentrate on the hotline itself and the website, but it's just one small component of the whole project, because you can have the tools to detect AI, but if you don't know that AI even exists. It's like trying to travel. You don't know that planes exist at all. So you just walk everywhere. So the second part of this, in fact, the more important part of this is the education and sensitization bit. Because a lot of Gambians just don't know about the existence of AI and deepfakes and so on. So as soon as they see it on video, they accept it. And it's not just political. Because cybercrime and using misinformation has become a really huge problem in Africa. In fact, last year, I think it was estimated we lost about $3 billion as a continent just to these cybercrimes and stuff. Interpol had a huge operation a few years ago that even included Gambia as well.
We have only 5 minutes left, so...
Wow. So there's a lot of personnel, and you shouldn't bring me for 30 minutes. They might just 2 hours.
I'll bring you up for 2 hours next time. So yes, this second phase of education is...
So we'll be going around the country. We'll be putting out PSAs on public radio.
Public service announcements.
Yes, not just in English, but also in Mandinka, Fula, all of our native languages. And people can also send in voice notes and stuff to the center, just describing in Wolof or whatever. And then at the observatory level, we have people at the ministry who transcribe it into English and give it to the AI. So we're trying to cover all segments of Gambian society, especially the illiterate, especially the technologically illiterate.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Well, that's everything. Well, he's done
it's
his
not
best
even close to everything, but
so to summarize the key things about the National Misinformation and Disinformation Response Center.
Yes.
We'll do what?
910-7486.
Okay, that's
7846.
That's the number.
Yes,
that's the WhatsApp number.
That's the WhatsApp number. Okay. So just add it to your address book, forward anything
Fantastic.
to it. Yeah, it's free to use.
Fantastic. Imran, thank you so very much for coming.
Yeah, and all the skeptics and critics and the CSOs, the lines are open. It's unconditional. You just reach out to us. We want you to be about this. This isn't built for the government. This is built for the Gambian people. So we have every right to be skeptical about it. That's healthy. That's what's expected. But then let's take that skepticism and actually make it into productive discussions that make this better.
Fantastic.
A better way to pay your UTG fees with instant proof of payment and real-time student portal update. Paying your University of the Gambia fees has never been easier or more convenient. With Ecobank, students, parents and guardians can pay UTG tuition and related fees through our secure digital banking channels such as Ecobank mobile app, Ecobank online and Ecobank Omni Lite. Once payment is completed, instant proof of payment is generated and the UTG student portal is updated in real time, allowing students to proceed immediately with registration, course selection, and clearance without unnecessary delays, while giving parents and guardians peace of mind that payments have been successfully processed. How to pay via the Ecobank mobile app. Open the Ecobank mobile app and navigate to the home screen. Select Pay Bill, choose Pay a New Bill, and select Schools from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. How to pay via Ecobank Online or Omni Lite. Log in to Ecobank Online and Omni Lite using your credentials. Select the menu and choose Bill Payments. Choose Quick Bill Pay and select School from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Walk into any Ecobank branch or pay through our digital channels and enjoy instant proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank.
Yëpp lay fay. Sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jah Oil Company stands tall as a trusted name in energy, keeping the Gambia moving with service stations across the country and a commitment to innovation and reliability. In Farafenni, Jah Group is reshaping our industrial landscape. The Jah Oil Cement Factory can produce up to 100,000 bags a day, reducing imports, creating jobs, and building a stronger Gambia brick by brick. And in the heart of the Central River region, Jah Farming Initiative is cultivating food security. With thousands of hectares under development and modern irrigation, Jah Farming is turning the Gambia's soil into abundance. Jah Group is more than a company. It is a vision of self-sufficiency, resilience, and progress. The Jah Group of companies, investing in industry, agriculture, and energy, building the Gambia's future today.
Africa is rising and business knows no borders. With Bloombank and PAPSS, buying and selling across Africa is now effortless. Fast, secure, direct from your Bloombank account. One Africa, one connection, one heartbeat of opportunity, powered by Bloombank Africa. Bloombank Africa, in partnership with PAPSS, connecting Africa, empowering you. Bloombank Africa, we make it happen.